of the Board of Adjustment, March 16, 2016. Oh, it all matched. To order. It is now, what happened to the time? 6:35. Oh, a clock. I'm looking for here. Thank you. All right. Everyone please stand up and please face the flag, and will Ms. Joseph lead us in?
Avec plaisir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic to which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. May we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Philippe?
Here.
Ms. Cohen?
Here.
Mr. McDermott?
Here.
Ms. Joseph?
Present.
Ms. McGlure-Fenelon?
Here.
Ms. Boulay? Ms. Hill? Ms. Estimarian?
Thank you. And we would like to make announcement to the public, an explanation of our process. Go ahead. Mr. Dixon.
This is for the.
If you want, I'll do it. Okay, thank you. Public hearings. Please be advised that the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. The applicant or duly authorized agent for the applicant must be present. If no representative is present, the application will be tabled to the next Board of Adjustment meeting. When the petition is announced, the applicant or his or her agent shall approach the microphone and state his or her name and address for the record. Any interested party wishing to speak on any item may approach the podium after the board has opened the public hearing. Each party shall approach the microphone and state his or her name and address for the record, and shall address his or her comments to the board. Each party shall speak for not more than 3 minutes in order to provide for order and time for other interested parties to address their concerns, comments to the board. Thank you, Madam Chair. And if I may, I will proceed with the quasi-judicial oath. Anyone desiring to speak this evening, please stand and raise your right hand. Anyone desiring to speak, except for members of council, need not, but anyway, go ahead, please raise your right.
If you think you're going to say something,
yeah, just
stand up and
if you're going to speak,
take the pledge.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you. Okay. Any amendments to the agenda, Mr. Dixon? No? Okay. And as such, it's been a long time, November 18th, that was the last meeting. And we need to approve. May I have a motion to approve?
Absolutely.
Moved by seconded by Ms. Cohen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll move forward. Communications? Any communications? Board communications? From the board?
To your left.
Yes, I was contacted by the applicant.
Okay,
so,
which applicant?
Can you please state, with some certainty, the nature of your communications?
On the third item, we're going to read the mic.
Can you please, for the mic?
Yes. Can you hear me now? No. Is it turned on?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
It is.
Can you hear me back there? Yes. Okay. Yeah, on item V-3-16, I was contacted by the applicant and also spoke with Councilwoman Keys on that particular item.
What was the nature of the conversation with the applicant? Can you expand on that?
Just making me aware of their petition, and that That was basically it.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yes. The Latin Cafe, I spoke to the owner. He just showed me what he wanted to accomplish, and that was it.
For the record, that would be the El Kiosco,
Right.
okay, which happens to be a Latin cafe.
I said Latin.
Thank you.
Did I say Latin?
Here. El Kiosko.
Anyone else?
Anyone else? Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Any communication from staff? I know we saw a letter here.
Yeah.
Okay,
This
so
one here.
does everyone have a copy of the letter?
Is it a letter or an email?
Well, I call it a letter. It's an email.
It's
that
an
was
email.
printed. It was not part of our package.
It's an email dated February 20th, 2016,
Yes.
from Andrew, personal email.
This would happen, this would be an email regarding the second item on the agenda.
Yes.
Yes.
And when we get to that
Okay.
particular item,
All right.
we'll disclose the nature of the communication. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll start with the new petitions. V-1-16 El Kiosco Latin Cafe, 13290 West Dixie Highway. Is the applicant here?
Yes, this here.
Okay.
Good evening. Hi.
Please
President
state your
State your name and
name and
address.
address for the record.
Rodel Barcedo, owner of Kiosco Latin Cafe, 13290 West Dixie Highway.
Thank you.
And Mr. Dixon?
That's it.
Today's petition for El Kiosco Latin Cafe is a variance to Article 5, Division 1, Section 5, 103 of the North Miami Code of Ordinances, Land Development Regulations, to allow existing business to construct an overhang in the rear with a side street setback of 4.42 feet instead of the required minimum setback of 15 feet, as set forth in the Land Development Regulations for developments permitted in the C1 district. The subject property is located at 13290 West Dixie Highway. The lot size is approximately 6,489 square feet, which is approximately 0.14 acres. Applicant is requesting to allow to construct an overhang in the rear with a side setback of 4.42 feet instead of the minimum setback of 15. After analysis, after doing or completing our analysis, as per Article 5, Division 1, Section 5103 of the LDR, it requires that all structures in a commercial zone area shall maintain a 15 feet setback from the public street. This structure meets both rear yard and front setbacks on the property. Upon reviewing the variance request, it is found to meet at least 5 of the 6 criteria set forth in Article 3, Division 6, Section 3606. Our conclusion, based on our analysis, given the foregoing, the applicant request conforms to the goals and objectives of the policies of the City Comprehensive Plan, as it will neither alter the use of the property as a commercial use nor affect the neighborhood character. In fact, it is in keeping with the intent and purpose of the city's LDR, as it will not be detrimental to the public and will provide the citizens of the city convenient access and service without adversely impacting the integrity of the adjacent properties. Therefore, a recommendation is made to approve the requested variance.
Thank you.
Is there any questions?
No. Thank you. Mr. Radell,
Yes.
Do you have anything to
Hi,
say?
would you like to add anything to your application?
No, just like you said, is to serve the community better. Outside dining, I think it will be very, very nice. After that, we plan to do later in the evening. So the city's been after that for a long time. I think it would be wonderful for the city to have a little bit of space out in the back to eat, and also, nightlife. Hopefully, we can bring in a little bit more nightlife into the city.
Okay. Madam
Okay.
That's our goal.
Okay,
I'm sorry, did you?
thank you. I have to
Oh.
open up.
Okay.
Is that it? Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay.
We've been waiting on this since 2012, working on this a long time
Thank
to
you.
be in front of you.
Thank you. All right. With that said, is there anyone in the audience for or against the item? Public hearing is open.
Good evening, I'm Frank Rowland. I live at 12934 Banyan Road, and I eat at El Kiosco almost every day. I normally wouldn't have been here, except I have another item before you, but I'm very familiar with, not only with the physical property El Kiosco, but with the part that it plays in the community. And El Kiosco does have a lot of community affairs. It is a center of our community. It's almost like a community center. And if you stop by in the morning, sometimes I see our city attorney there, and everybody is there. The people working for the city, the people who don't work for the city, and anything you can do to help this business, because it is a small business and it really needs the city support. Anything you can do to help it, I think, is really good for the city. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Now or forever hold your peace.
She was coming.
Annie Montgomery, 2082 Northeast 124th Street. I'm very much in favor of this. They've waited, as he said before, several years, and let's get it done, approve it, stamp it, and let them get to work. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that it? Thank you. Board discussion?
Close the, Madam Chair.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Public hearing is closed.
Thank you.
Board discussion. I know, Mr. McDermott, you had something to say.
Yeah, a question to staff. It's a great facility. We know these people, and they certainly, it's a great facility. But my main concern, did you look at, he mentioned expanding his facilities, particularly nightlife and that kind of thing. Did you consider the parking situation when you were analyzing this?
Well, the property itself has sufficient parking. If that's the case, if you're looking at if it has sufficient parking to accommodate the.
Do we know
the additional.
how many additional tables do you want to have there?
We're only going to have like probably 4 or 5 tables in the back.
Yeah.
And right now, the only ones that do have parking is us. In the whole block, in the north block and the south block, we are very lucky to have side parking, and in the front of the building, we have like 8 parking spaces, or 6 parking spaces. We're very, very lucky to be in the corner.
Yeah, that's you.
Very lucky.
Yeah.
And by nightlife, I mean dining. No, no wild stuff.
Oh, no. I was just wondering about.
No wild stuff. No nightlife like that. Dining.
Like everybody.
You can come out with your friends and have dinner.
Yeah. Well, like everybody.
Have a glass of wine.
I guess everybody here in the room. I've been there to your facility, obviously.
Everybody's been there.
So I know that parking's an issue, and
Yeah.
I just, so staff, you're satisfied with the parking situation?
Yeah, we're okay with it.
Okay.
And just to
All right.
clarify with the nightlife some more, or are you done with your question?
No, I was actually going to make a motion.
Okay, before you make your motion, just a quick question. With the nightlife, I just wanted to check, do you plan to have live music? Or
No,
any
no live
kind of-
music. No.
Darn, okay.
In
No,
the
just kidding,
future,
just kidding.
in the future, that is a possibility.
Okay,
If you know the place, I always have music playing.
okay.
I have Latin music playing all the time, especially on the weekends. I put the speaker in the front. It's not loud, but it's nice where you can come and have coffee and you listen to bachata. And,
Perfecto.
that's
Okay.
what I would like to do in the back. Also, nightlife meeting. You can come sit down, have dinner, listen to a little bit of music.
Okay, I'll second the motion he's about to make.
Make it first.
Through you,
Go
Madam
ahead.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the applicant.
Seconded by
Second.
Ms. Joseph. Roll call, please.
Ms. Philippe,
Yes?
Ms. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. McDermott,
Yes.
Ms. Joseph,
Yes.
Ms. McGlure-Fenelon.
Yes.
Thank you. You've been
Thank
approved.
you.
Congratulations.
God bless you.
Good luck.
Congratulations. See you tomorrow.
Okay. All right. And, excuse me, I'm lost here. What did I do with my agenda? Okay, our next one, thank you. V2-16, Fifth Avenue Development LLC, 12121 Northeast Fifth Avenue and 509 Northeast 121st Street. And I see Mr. Mayor standing up, so, okay. Mr. Wolin, you represent the applicant.
I do, thank you. If you'll give us just a minute to set up.
Okay, well, just introduce yourself, and then Mr. Dixon can take it on.
Okay, why don't I do
Again.
the introductions while we're starting?
Briefly.
Good
Just
good
name and
evening, yes.
address.
I'm Frank Wolin. I'm an attorney. My office is at 12865 West Dixie Highway here in North Miami. I'm here on behalf of East of Fifth Townhouses. The principals are here. The gentleman all the way over to your left is Mr. Marcelo Borodowski. He is an architect, and he is one of the principals of Fifth Avenue Development. The gentleman in the center here is Pascal Korchmer. He is also an architect and a principal of Fifth Avenue Development. Mr. Joseph Kaller is here. He is the project architect. His office is here in Hollywood, and he is a very well-known and respected architect, and I think he's very proud of this project. We have our traffic engineer, Mr. Brian Kelly, is here to answer any questions or concerns you might have about those issues. So, having made those introductions,
If you'll hold on just 1 minute, and we'll allow Mr. Dixon to go ahead and
sure.
speak on the item before you get started. Thank you.
Okay. This is V2-16 east of Fifth Townhomes. We have 3 variances on hand right now. The first variance is a variance to Article 5, Division 20, Section 5202B of Chapter 29 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinance to allow a proposed townhouse development to set back 13 feet 3 inches and 20 feet 10 inches from the east and west side property line instead of the minimum 30 feet required in LDR. The second variance to Article 5, Division 20, Section 5201D of Chapter 29 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinance to allow the said development 2 townhouse rows with a length of 8 units and 12 units respectively, instead of the maximum length of 6 units per townhouse row, as required by the LDR. The third variance is to allow forward and reverse backout movement for our proposed townhouse development for this multifamily development. Brief history or summary. The subject property consists of 2 contiguous irregular shaped lots. The northerly parcel, lot 1, located at 12121 Northeast 5th Avenue, contains 19,468 square feet, which is approximately 0.44 acres. The southerly parcel, lot 2, with the physical address of 509 Northeast 121 Street, comprises of 20,737 square feet, which is a 0.48 acre. Based on the medium density residential land use designation and R5 zoning classification, the subject property can accommodate up to 15 units and as high as at a height of 75 feet. The applicant proposal to develop a proposed 20-unit development, which consists of 2 two-story structures, will be very much in scale and character with some surrounding low-lying residential developments, and therefore be more in keeping with the spirit and intent of the transition zone. After reviewing this and doing our analysis, as per Article 5, Division 20, Section 5202, 2002B of Chapter 29 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinance, Land Development Regulations, to allow a proposed townhouse development to set back 13 feet 3 and 20 feet 10 from the east and west side property line respectively, instead of the minimum 30 feet required in LDR for townhouse developments, and a variance to Article 5, Division 20, Section 5201D of Chapter 29 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinance to allow the 2 townhouse rows with a length of 8 units and 12 units respectively, instead of the maximum length of 6 units per townhouse row as required in LDR for townhomes. Upon reviewing this request, it is found that it meets at least 4 of the 6 criteria set forth in Article 3, Division 6, Section 3606. Given the foregoing, the applicant request conforms to the goals, objectives, and policies of the City Comprehensive Plan, as it will neither alter the use of the property as a multifamily use, nor affect the neighborhood's character and its surroundings. In fact, in keeping with the intent and purpose of the city's LDR, it will ultimately improve the appearance and character of the neighborhood. Therefore, recommendation is made to approve the requested variance.
Thank you.
Any questions?
As a point of order, Madam Chair, as you can see, staff is recommending approval of all 3 variances. Procedurally, I would suggest that you review each variance one at a time, and then approve each variance one at a time accordingly, so that we don't confuse the issues. I think that would be the best practice, and that's what I would suggest. Thank you.
Okay, with that said, Mr.
Okay.
Cullen, you're on.
With that said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a general presentation, and then I'm going to talk about the setbacks and the clustering, and then we'll leave the last issue, which is the parking, till after you deal with the first issues, okay? First of all, I'd like to say, and I think what you see bears out, that this is a, okay, we're going to put it up in a minute. This is a very exciting project, and it's a project which staff supports, which the Planning Commission has supported because we were able to secure bonus units for density, and which the City Council has also supported because the City Council has voted positively on the density issue. And the project fits very well. I'm going to go ahead and ask, we're going to go ahead and put up the presentation. I just want to show you, yes, thank you, what is possible, even though we are not here to talk about density. I want you to understand the way the project is built. If I may, I'll speak loudly. This is 121st Street. This is 5th Avenue. This is the first cluster right here. This is Biscayne Park right beneath it. If we wanted to, what we would be permitted to build is in the front parcel, right? I don't know, we lost the picture.
Yeah.
Candy.
Dunia?
They changed it.
We're back.
Which one?
Which one from?
The first one.
No, I have it here.
The PowerPoint, yes.
Okay. So this is 121st Street, which faces Biscayne Park. So this project is within the transition zone, and this is the density, the blue is the density that we have, the green is the density that we could have. In other words, on 5th Avenue, we're allowed to go 75 feet. We could build a project, an apartment building with parking underneath. That's what is permitted by the code, and much more dense than this. We have chosen not to. We've chosen to build, and it's to these gentlemen's credit, they've built townhouses that, as you can see, are really nice for the area. They're something that we can be proud of, and something that I think that is especially significant, and one of the reasons that we're asking for the variance is because we have a magnificent oak tree on the property, which is this tree right here. It's a specimen oak. It's right here in the corner of the property, right here. And in order to save the oak, we've moved the buildings and the whole project over, which is why we're asking for a variance, because our setbacks are smaller than they would ordinarily be. It's a 30-foot setback. And what we've got is, you can see we've got a walkway, we've got a playground in the back, a walkway on the side that goes all the way around the property, through the back, from one side to the other, with the playground. We have the parking on each side, and we've preserved the oak. The oak has a diameter of 60 inches. That's 5 feet. It's not one of the tallest oaks in North Miami, but in terms of canopy, it has one of the largest canopies. And certainly in this part of the city, it is standout. And so we kind of designed our project around it, and as I say, that's one of the reasons that we're asking for the side setback variances, which is the first of the issues that we're going to discuss. I also want to let you know that the site is on 2 lots, and they're kind of 2 triangle-shaped lots. So it's a very difficult site to work with, which is one of the reasons we're asking for a variance. The way it's designed, it's very attractive. It's high-quality housing. It's a very balanced project. It will, I think it's been about 50 years since there's been any new development in this area. It's about 5 blocks from City Hall here. It will bring new families to live close to downtown, and I think that's what the city's been wanting to do, is to revitalize our downtown, to encourage this kind of construction, and hopefully if this project moves forward, then my clients will be able to build other similar projects in the area. And these are very nice townhouses, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 2 bedroom, 2 baths, the playground, twice as much green space as required by the code. I think I can rest now. I know I'm not going through the whole presentation, but I will keep it simple. I will give the floor to our architect, to Mr. Kaller. I don't know if you have questions, but I know he wants to make a brief presentation. Thank you.
As a point of order, Dunia, can you please zoom in on some of the other presentations? Hello?
Good evening, honorable board members of the Board of Adjustments. My name is Joseph Kaler. I'm the architect of the project. For the record, our offices are located at 2417 Hollywood Boulevard, Hollywood, Florida. I'm real excited for this particular project. It's a very challenging site, as was said before, triangular. And there are 2 basic clusters, one along Northeast 121st Street, which are 8 units. Those 8 units have 2 unit types. The larger ones basically bookend that cluster. The ones on the outer edges are about 1,350 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. The ones in the center, more the cookie cutter ones, are the 2 bedroom, 2.5 baths. In all the different schemes, always the living area is downstairs, an open, big kitchen, living room, dining room, and a powder room. And whether the unit is small or large, all the bedrooms are upstairs, whether there be 3 or 2. We're very excited about it in the sense that it is contemporary in look and in architecture. And we basically did want to respect that large tree, which is part of why we're here today for the variances. It was an incredible specimen, and the first thing I told the client was, please keep that and let's work our site plan around it. So it's the dog wagging the tail. So if there's any questions on the particular project, the materials, or even, now the height is 25 feet. Very, very prototypical with residential, which is between 25 and 30 foot in height. So we really are trying to respect the neighborhood and not build up to the maximum of the 75 feet. So any questions, I'm here to answer any of them if you'd like. Okay, thank you very much.
We're all done.
All right, thank you. With that said, following our attorney's recommendation, we will be looking at the first variance, which is for the setback. So is there anyone in the audience? I'll open public hearing for just that particular item. In the audience, for or against, now is your opportunity to speak. Okay. We're doing one at a time, ma'am. Come to the mic.
Yeah, please come to the mic and ask your question. This is for the setback, for the variance for the
Yeah,
setback.
we should do this project in general. I think so, because otherwise they're going to be cut off. I think so.
There are 3 items.
But even so, we should talk about the project, just because it's the project.
Through you, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
If you have general comments, you can come forth with those now, but we're going to vote on each specific variance independently. So if you have general comments, you can come forward now, and then we'll...
Is your mic on?
No. Testing. What about now? Can you hear? Okay, good. If you have general comments, please come forth with those now. We'll entertain them at this time. And in addition to comments to the first variance, which relates to the setbacks.
Okay. Thank you. Hi, I'm Shirley Stock, 925 Northeast 123rd Street. I'm here both in support of the project and to really thank the developers for making the investment in the community. I'm both a property owner and a commercial realtor. I have a very long history in the city of North Miami, and I love the city like crazy. If you drive down the street, you'll see that we're doing a lot of improvements on our property. And when I see a project like this come in, it makes me feel like I'm doing a good thing by investing in my own property. And the sensitivity of the property, the way it fits into the neighborhood and is respectful of the entire community, really it encourages me to bring other developers into the community, because again, this is something I can bring in and show my clients and say the city of North Miami is not in the past. You know, I know Mayor Smith is very, very, very much into development and has really been a shot of energy into the community. Again, I think what the developers are doing for the community is a phenomenal thing. It's going to improve all of our properties, and it's really going to be one of the first little pieces. As a realtor, I keep waiting for something interesting and exciting like this to happen, so I can drive a client by and show them something like this and say, yes, North Miami is the next place to be. You don't have to be concerned. Let's write a contract. Let's do something in North Miami. And that's pretty much what I wanted to say. And again, I just really very much appreciate what they're doing to improve the community.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Diane Hosto. I live at 435 Northeast 121st Street, almost right beside the project, which I think is a great idea because I've been there 5 years only. I'm also a realtor, and I think this is going to be a great improvement. Being a realtor, I just have a couple of questions. Will they be rental or sale, and my other concern is the parking. But apart from that, it looks great.
Anyone
Would you like
else?
me to address the questions? Or wait?
I guess rental or sales, I don't know,
Okay,
quickly.
for now, the property is going to be a rental property. We have in our plans the ability, and depending on where the market goes, we would offer them for sale. They are single-family homes attached, they're townhouses, and we've kind of set our project up to have the option to go either way, but we're starting as a rental property till we get established.
Thank you. Mr. Galdos, you've been trying
I
to
believe
say
there
something.
was, if you'd like to entertain the parking issue.
Okay. Our property has parking in front of each townhome. And so there's 2 spaces for each townhome right in front of the property, or actually comes to 1.5 spaces. Yes, available for each townhome, plus parking on the swales. And we don't think that's going to be necessary, because typically, and if you look at other townhouse projects and the density of the parking, we more than meet the city's requirements. The city requires a little bit less than what we have, and so we're completely compliant with the code with the parking.
Let me make sure I understand. You said 1.5 per unit?
Yes, 1.5 per unit, which is
What
exactly.
is a half of a space?
I'm sorry?
I guess conceptually, what is a half of a space?
What it means is.
Bicycle, motorcycle.
That
doesn't make sense, because this has 12.
Two spaces, but the property lines don't always line up with the spaces.
Okay.
So we've made the best available use of the parking, keeping in mind that we have a lot of extra landscaping, which is one of the things we did not want to sacrifice.
Okay,
We could maybe have less landscaping and more parking, but we want our project to be as green as possible, and we've complied with the city code, and then a little bit plus.
Okay. So then it's actually 2 per, it's just shifted.
When you add it all up, it comes to 1.5. In other words, there's 20 units, and I think there's 31 parking spaces.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Gallo.
There is an email that was submitted to this board dated February the 20th that I would like to announce, and it is from a realtor. However, this particular realtor, unlike the previous 2 realtors, is in opposition to this project. And the communication is in your packet. I believe it's Mr. Andrew Olis is opposing allowing a variance based on the setback, which we have just heard, and not to allow the density to almost double. The density is not before you. This is not an issue that is before you. So the only issue that is right now before you is the one dealing with the setback, and that's why I'm introducing this item. It is on the record in opposition to this particular variance. In addition to, and we could read it on the record. I mean, it's available. Should I I'll have the clerk read the email on the record, for the record.
Hello, this is Andrew Olis. I live within a block of the proposed development on the corner of Northeast 121st and Northeast 5th Avenue. I am a realtor. I am opposed to allowing for a variance based on the setback and not to allow the density to almost double. I was vocal when North Miami wanted to increase the density before Northeast 121st and was reduced to where it is now as a compromise with setbacks for height reductions in density, etc. for a reason. This lot was too difficult to sell because of the shape and the size and the existing setbacks. You can develop it. An added burden of 20 units, which is 30 to 50 plus more residents and 20 to 40 plus cars, that little piece of land with no street parking Will the water pressure be increased to compensate the added density? We have water pressure issues in this part of Biscayne Park. It is and has always been low. Adding 20 homes to the block will affect this. The intersection at Northeast 121st Street and 5th Avenue is a documented hazard already and has recommended closed at the median by Kimley Horn Studies we commissioned. Now with added traffic infractions, will North Miami or the developer close this median to keep the added cars and traffic in the North Miami side of Northeast 121st Street? We don't want the added cut-through traffic on my street, Northeast 5th Avenue, or to affect Biscayne Park. Were traffic studies done for impact to the neighborhood? Northeast 121st was already in the Kimley Horn report. 1 or 2 cars shy of being a major artery. This cannot be allowed on a street and is barely 7 feet wide on your side. This project will put it over. Is this fair to us in Biscayne Park? Also, the report from Mr. Dixon states that there was a notice put out on the Herald and letters mailed, and there was no response from the residents. This letter was already printed and completed before the letters were mailed. The letters were mailed February 16th and received on the 17th, 18th, and 19th through the homes in our area 2 or 3 days ago. Is this proper or legal to even have the hearing? The sign on the property went up Monday, a week and a half before the hearing. Is this proper? When the zoning and density master plan was going to be changed on Northeast 121st a few years ago, no notices were sent to the residents, and the Village of Biscayne Park management was not notified, which is a common courtesy between municipalities. This was brought to the North Miami Commissioners and the North Miami Planners' attention by the VOBP at the City of North Miami, and commission meeting hearing about the zoning, and it was finally tabled and then negotiated and voted on. I find it strangely similar that yet again something is already seems done and verified with incorrect conclusions and assumptions about public input, but not unless adjacent and affected Biscayne Park residents find out about it late notice or not at all. Cut, add, paste below for your report. Thank you.
So on page 2, to address these concerns, you'll see that the project is fully in compliance with the City of North Miami's comprehensive plan. This project would not be before you if the water issues were not addressed and other issues that were raised in this communication. And also, pursuant to staff's report, page 5 and 6, you'll see that the property was advertised in the Miami Herald. It was also posted. In fact, it was posted for quite some time because this item was actually was supposed to come before you last month, and it didn't. So it's been posted for a substantial period of time. And furthermore, the residents within a 500 feet radius were also notified.
Okay.
Through you, Madam Chair.
Hi.
Excuse me.
Once you're done.
Did you?
I have not.
haven't
I did
closed?
not.
Okay.
So
Could you state your
good
name,
evening.
please?
My name is Pedro Villanueva. I live on 12100 Northeast 5th Avenue, across the street where the project is gonna go. Talking about the water pressure is very bad. That you're talking about that. Plus, the parking is gonna be a chaos because right now there's no building and there's cars parking all over the street. So imagine if you put like 40 cars on the street, plus the building next behind that building, there's always complaint about the police, fire gun, there's a police officer and you can ask, drugs, theft. So if this is gonna be a rental, I wanna know if it's gonna be a Sector A or what's going on with that. That's my concern. I'm opposite with the building.
thank you. All right. Public hearings closed. And Ms. Joseph, you had a question?
Yeah, I had a question. From the email, they had mentioned something about traffic studies. I mean, is that something you would consider for such an item?
And I believe
Madam
the
Chair?
applicant has their own.
I didn't address the traffic because that was the parking, that's the third part of the variance. So I do have a traffic engineer. We haven't said anything about that.
Okay, we'll address that when we get
I
to that
will
one.
address all of those concerns when we get to that part of the presentation. But I'm happy to address it now or whenever you like. I'm just following the city attorney's recommendation.
Yeah, the communication, as you can see, touched upon many areas,
Right.
and I just wanted to put it on the record so that later on, nothing is said that, oh, it was stated, it's on the record, and so counsel for the applicant could then address it at the
No,
end.
I agree. I table my own question until we get to the third variance.
Thank you.
Well,
Madam Chairman?
And I'll move to approve unless there's a question.
No.
A
Yeah, there's a
question?
question. Are you satisfied? I know he raised questions about notice. You fine with the notice
Yes,
issues
sir.
that he
I'm
raised?
satisfied. Again, this item was supposed to have been presented
February 24th.
some time ago, and it's, I think, repeatedly noticed. I know that it was so in the Miami Herald. And the property, I pass by there on a daily basis, the property has been posted.
And please note that the
Consistently.
email was dated February 20th,
The
2000.
email was dated, and although it was dated, I think the email was intended for the last hearing that we didn't have. I still wanted to put it on the record for today's meeting.
Okay.
Didn't want to give,
I have a
yes.
question. I have a bit of a problem giving a variance of number 1 because it really relates to the number 2 one, because we're increasing it a 6 units per strip, I guess is what you would call them, to 12, and we're doubling it. If we didn't double it, we wouldn't have to have this variance of the setbacks. So I have a problem with dealing with one without dealing with the other, because if we approve this and then we move on to number 2, you got a situation, how do you unapprove the first one? Or you won't need it if number 2 is not approved.
So perhaps we can entertain information about number 2?
Yeah,
and then
because
vote on them separately?
Yeah, because my problem is you got a odd-shaped lot, but we're doubling. Okay, 8 is fine, 12. I mean, that why do we bother to have zoning at all? If every time someone has an economic reason, and it really boils down to an economic reason, that we change it. So I have a problem with approving one, which you will, without dealing with actual numbers of units that will be allowed. Do you follow me? Or am
I do. And I'm sorry, is it really economic? And I'm thinking, if they are able to go up to 75 and
feet.
we build up
Okay.
rather than build out, it's
Well, how
basically
tall is
the
it?
same.
Well, not necessarily.
Well, what I mean the
you-
same, because I think you're thinking about when you mention, well, why are we allowing them more in terms of, is it more
Is it-
individuals or?
Yeah, it's more.
Because
Listen, we
if-
have
if-
LDRs that say we have 6 units per townhouse row, and all of a sudden we go to 12. Yeah, that's more.
Okay,
I
if
mean,
they
it
have
sounds like to
six-
me like 6 more.
If they
I mean-
build the 6th unit
Well, we can
this
ask the
way,
applicant.
Okay.
no, I'll ask the
No.
question.
Okay.
If they build 6 this way
Mhm.
and 6 on top,
Yeah.
that's 12,
Okay.
which they're allowed to do, correct?
I don't know.
They can
That's
go
what I
up
would
to
like to-
75
Up to
feet.
75 feet.
So
Actually,
75 feet is how many floors? I don't know.
Much
It's
more than
about
much more than the
3 to
2
4.
you're asking. Yeah.
It's 10 feet of floor.
Of
Put it
10
that.
feet of floor, so they could
So-
go up 75 feet.
So you wouldn't
Oh,
want that
so-
at that location.
And I'm not here to speak on their
No,
behalf.
I understand.
I'm not
But
either.
I'm
But-
trying to, get.
I understand your question
Right.
because you're saying that there may be an interrelationship between one and the other.
Right.
I'd like to point out the fact that it is an irregularly shaped lot, if you
Right,
can see
I-
it on page 3.
I know that, right.
And also, they're trying to respect the
The homes
village.
across the street, right.
So they're having
Okay.
to necessitate the variance, not just economics, they're trying to respect the citizens of the village of
Now,
West
now
Texas.
that you explained that they could go up 75.
Yes.
then- Okay.
Yes, they
Then
can.
that's,
I'd rather see the 20
all right,
units
me
rather
too.
than
Okay,
50.
me too.
I
All right.
think it's
Then
more.
you answered my question. I could vote on them.
It's
Well,
much more
I
appealing.
have a
Yes.
question that's related to that.
Okay.
But it's tied to the second variance as well. As far as
Go for it.
why, and maybe this is just education from staff, not necessarily from the applicant, as to why we have, what was the rationale for limiting it to 6 units
Per row, yeah.
in the first place?
Archaic law.
I don't know.
Yeah, and it may make a difference whether it's rental units versus actual home ownership. I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to ascertain.
I actually have asked this question many times
Okay.
of many different people. I've heard, well, maybe the fire department can get back there easier if they need to, or if you, I think the concern, and I'll give you an example. The example I'll give you is Colonnade condominiums. On 121st Street in San Souci.
Okay.
This is a townhouse project, and it goes from one block to it's actually about 2 blocks long. In this project, if you didn't have some separation, there would literally be no way to get from the front to the back without going around the block. Makes sense to separate them, whether it's every 6 unit or 8 unit or 12 unit, or makes sense to separate them. For this project, and again, if maybe staff will correct me and there's a reason I don't know about, but it makes sense, given the way the lot is laid out, to have the units together. If we were to separate them, code requires 20 feet. And it's not about the density at all, because the city council and the planning commission have already provided for the density. It's really the layout of the project, and we believe this project laid out the way it is the best possible way, and I can, have Mr. Caller address it for you. He's the architect. But I've asked, like I say, many times, and I'm happy to be corrected. I don't know of any real rational reason except for that.
I do have one question. You said that there would be rentals. Do you have a price range or what you're thinking of?
Their market rental, I think it's going to be 7. Okay. The 3.5 bedroom unit are going to be $1,900. The 2 bedroom units will be $1,700. This is not going to be low income housing. It's market rate housing, and it's going to be available for you and me and anyone who would want to live here. And we're, if you give me the opportunity for rebuttal, I'll talk about some of the concerns for crime and all, because I understand the people in Biscayne, some of the people in Biscayne Park, because some of the people in Biscayne Park have welcomed us. And we had a public hearing in Biscayne Park. We did our entire presentation, and there were a lot of people who had a lot of concerns. And I think I can honestly say, and by you can see they're not all here going, no, no, no. We addressed their concerns. And one of the concerns they had was crime and traffic, and one of the things that a project like this does is it stabilizes and improves the community. And it when you bring families into a community, this is a family project with a playground in the back. We're really, it's in our best interest to have the best possible project and the best possible residents.
All right.
Mr. McDermott?
Mr. Wolin?
Yes.
You understand that building directly behind where you're building is anything but market rate?
You're talking about Claridge House?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is a building that a lot of people have expressed concerns about. Okay, I think I'm putting it accurately, that it's not a nice building, and it's not well taken care of, and there's some very bad people that live there.
Yes, exactly. And
Right, so we are bringing the area up. This is a project which we hope is going to change the community. There's nothing we can do about that project, except I can tell you, when bad people start hanging around, the people who live in this project are going to be calling the police to do something about it, because we're improving this neighborhood, and unfortunately, it is a depressed neighborhood. There hasn't been any new construction in 50 years
oh, yes, I know.
in the surrounding neighborhood. So we're here to hopefully be the first people to do this, and I hope that many other people will be following, and I know we will. If this project is successful, we will have every incentive to continue to invest in this community. And my clients do have 6 other properties they own in the community, and they want to invest in North Miami. They've put their money up, and they've made a project which, like I say, it's supported by staff, by the Planning Commission, by the council, and we hope we'll have your support too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Joseph, you had an additional question?
Well, actually, I didn't really get an answer to my question from staff, so I wanted to direct it specifically to Mr. Nixon. Mr. Dixon. Sorry, Mr. Dixon. Because I heard the answer from Mr. Wolin about the fire department and getting around.
Sorry. Yeah, you're looking at a cluster, but it's really an architectural design, really, which is standards where it varies with cities.
Okay, let me be more specific with my question. Why do we have a requirement for 6 units as a maximum? That's all I'm trying to ascertain, because they're asking for double, and I'm trying to figure out what the impact is as far as the original rationale.
It's really just for breakup, to break up the clusters. That's really, basically, that's what the 6 units is for. It's for movement and to break up with clusters. But as I'm saying, it's really a design aspect. Every city has a different limit to how many you can have in a cluster. For North Miami, City of North Miami, they're only 6. Some other places are different. But it's just really to break up the units. Instead of having a long stretch.
I got it. How often does the city make a variance on that particular one? Like, is this something that happens all the time, or is this like an anomaly?
That one I could answer.
Okay.
I just started working here, so I wouldn't know how long it was.
In our city, we don't have that many
and we don't have
townhomes
or new ones.
Some of
We
my
don't
are
have
small.
anything
That's
new.
why I'm just wondering if this is going to be the
I cannot speak for the intent, but it is, to me, it is very inflexible because it doesn't consider the potential for height. It doesn't consider the potentials for the type of look at this property. It's diagonal.
I mean,
it's like a
just for the
triangle.
record, I'm ready to chuck it,
yeah.
but I guess I just want to know. I want to make sure I'm not missing something.
This is a perfect example.
No, it's you're not missing anything. It's just architectural. It's just a design aspect of it.
So it's the design aspect, and just as far as breaking it
Yeah,
up
it's the breaking
for
it up.
traffic purposes or for what purposes?
It's mainly for
Air.
Police, the fire. It's like to prevent.
It just for movement around.
Okay.
Which their design, I'm sorry, if you look at the design, it's done, there's that space.
There's that space in between.
You know.
Yeah, I would think it's more trying to break up the design.
Yes.
So that it becomes actually better than if they didn't require the 6 units. So it spreads it out. It makes movement among the property easier, and I think probably from an appearance standpoint as well. Madam Chairman?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. McDermott.
Can I move that we, I guess, approve the first item, which is the variance
for the setback.
For the setback,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, motion made to approve the variance for the setback. Do I have a second?
I'll second it now that I
Second.
understand the reasoning for it, yes.
Okay, roll call.
Did you closed public hearing, right?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
We did, it's been a long time. Yeah.
Ms. Philippe,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. McDermott,
Yes.
Ms. Joseph,
Yes.
Ms. McGuire-Fenelon.
Yes.
Okay, so first
Number 2.
item, number 2, which is the variance to allow said development with 2 townhouse rows with a length of 8 units and 12 units respectively instead of the 6. And instead of the 6, which I think we just discussed that.
We just discussed
Okay.
it.
We just discussed
So,
some of it.
Ad nauseam.
Are you guys,
I don't know if the
anyone
applicant wants to add anything to it.
Anyone else wants to add anything? Or
You got to open
Oh,
it. no?
public hearing, open it for.
no, remember, we had the public hearing, we allowed them to discuss anything on the item. So, I don't think,
Unless
I
someone
thought it was
should.
just generally.
No, we said general,
General.
and
General.
then that one
Yeah,
variance.
anything
So
in
now we can
particular.
open it
Let's go
again
for
for
the
the next
second.
variance.
Yeah.
That's a
I agree
suggestion,
with
I
Madam
thought
Chair.
they were
That's a
coming
good
to say
suggestion.
whatever they wanted to say.
Well, you don't want that.
Okay,
Give them an opportunity.
Just give them an opportunity.
public hearing is open.
Going once.
Public hearing.
Wait, there's.
Any questions?
Right, she's coming back.
You have to say my name again, Diane Husto. Just
Yes.
a quick
Bring it
question.
down, you can bring it down.
Yes, your address, please,
Happens
again,
for the
ma'am.
Short people. Diane Husto, 435 Northeast 121st Street. I'm not sure if I'm on the second or the third one, but my big issue is the parking. Because I manage.
That's the third one.
That's the third one.
Pull
I'll
that
be
up.
back.
Okay.
We'll make sure we open it.
We'll open
Okay.
it again.
With that said, public hearing is closed.
Closed,
Any
okay.
board discussion on item 2?